Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Rich Perez welcoming you back into another weekly dose of the rundown. Thank you. Joined in with me as always, my brother from another, my co-host all the way from the Kayson Davis. How you doing, Kay?
I'm doing good today, man. How you doing, guys? Sorry for the delay a little bit.
Yeah, we apologize for that one, man. We really do apologize for that one, but that's good. I'm doing pretty good. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's hump day, so the week's almost over. Get ready for the weekend. It's going to be a great one. Has some great games going, from since the last time we saw y'all, and great games going on from then. So, since we last spoke, two teams have advanced to the second round of the NBA playoffs, both out of the Eastern Conference. Your number one seed, Miami Heat, after they beat the Atlanta Hawks. Took them 5 games, but they got it done. So 5 games straight to go ahead and move on to the second round. Likely to, well, I'm not even going to say likely. We got a guest coming on today, so we'll talk about that. See the winner of the Philadelphia 76ers Toronto Raptors. We'll get into that a little bit as the show goes on. And then the Boston Celtics swept the Brooklyn Nets. This thing has been a nonstop story since it happened. I'll be honest with you. Once I saw Ben Simmons was not playing Game 3, I was already like, I don't think they're definitely not gonna win this series. I was giving K was speaking down truth, so just letting me know, letting everybody else know that Boston's going to win this. They're supposed to win this. And I was kind of like, hey, Brooklyn's Brooklyn. No, they can do something here. But no, they got swept. Not only did they get swept, but we were supposed to see Ben Simmons in Game 4. He, according to reports, pulls himself out of that, doesn't even dress up for Game 4. So we don't get Ben Simmons and we get a sweep. Out of these 4 games, Brooklyn actually played well against the Celtics for 3 of them. I mean, they were up late in the first game. That's a game I think everybody's like they should have won that one. Game 2, they were up late again, and then Boston kind of ran away with it. And then, Game 3 and is what it is. Game 4 just was not there. The energy wasn't there, anything like that. For me, I kind of look at this as a lot of things. I haven't believed in Steve Nash as a coach. Steve Nash is one of the few coaches who gets a coaching job, but he was not qualified for it at all. He had no experience coaching. He's just a fantastic basketball player who got thrown into the trenches to be a head coach. And I guess maybe they thought because he had this great talent around him that he'd be able to do it. I mean, we like Jason Kidd, when Jason Kidd got his shot in Brooklyn, he had no coaching experience, but he was coaching Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. So, and they went to the playoffs, but they didn't really do much. So, it's similar fashion, but you could clearly see that he wasn't ready for this moment. The Boston Celtics, they're well put together. They've got a great dynamic duo in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they're well coached. And we saw just the difference in coaching throughout this series. Number one,
Yeah, definitely. I think it was probably ended up. I picked Boston to win, but I didn't think they would get. I didn't think the Nets would get swept. If you think about it, it was probably a bad matchup for the Nets. The Celtics head coach, he was on the Nets coaching staff last year. The Celtics have been playing great since Christmas, and the Nets have just been dysfunctional all year, and that's kind of why I didn't pick them. I think I said before their defense just wasn't there. They're undersized. They don't really have a forward the backup KD, and that's why Ben would have been so important. Ben would have came in and gave him another forward on the wing, and I think just Kyrie. I think Kyrie not playing all season and then not being in full game shape to go into the playoffs and try to fast during the playoffs. I think that hurt him because I think there's spots where Kyrie could have attacked more, and I think even Chuck called him out a couple times about how he looked passive and things like that. I think he was just tired trying to fast and not being in full shape or anything like that. The my problem with Nash is, and maybe KD a little bit, both of them have to take a hit for this. They never tried to switch up what they were doing offensively. I think all season KD has been getting the ball in the certain spots, whether it's the low post or at the free throw line, posting up there. And the Celtics knew that, and they were taking that away. And never once did they try something different. If you remember KD's days in OKC, he's running off pin downs, he's running off Iverson cuts, he's running off screens and things like that. We've seen none of that. So when your defense is, when you try to post up like that and the defense is set, that's why you see a lot of those Celtics coming over the top and getting the steals, not letting him get in the post, bumping him off his spot, and different things like that. I think that really hurt them. And Nash never really tried to do anything different, and I guess neither did KD. Obviously, he got going in that game four, but I think that kind of that's what was different.
What are we like? So what are we thinking about KD now? Because I've seen you even kind of pivot a little bit on your thoughts of him. This big talk now about where he is a superstar. I mean, you really got to think about it. It was 15 years in the league, correct?
Yeah.
15 years, one MVP. Outside of your time in Golden State, you went to 2 conference finals?
Four.
4?
Yeah, they went to 4.
Okay, so what was it, the early years in Oklahoma City? I feel like after, I think that what they might have went to 1
finals.
They did go to 1 finals, but 15 years, what outside of Golden State, 1 MVP, 1 finals appearance. Now you're the lead man in Brooklyn. This is a new era for you. A lot of people, myself included, were kind of expecting this Brooklyn thing to go better than LeBron James' second stint in Cleveland. And we saw the whole beef thing between Charles Barkley and him, the back and forth about being a bus driver, being a bus rider. I don't know. I feel like this because my whole reason for picking Brooklyn was because they had KD, or even me saying that this shouldn't have been a sweep was because they have KD. You have the superstar. It's like they can get you 1 game. We talked about this last week. 1 game. You should be able to get 1 game. AI against the Lakers, NBA Finals. He got you 1 game. You know what I mean? So I think this looks bad for his resume. He probably doesn't really care what a lot of people say. We know he's going to go back and forth with whoever comes his way, but I feel like this definitely says something about him as a guy that's supposed to lead your team to the promised land. And to be honest with you, I've never really looked at him as a leader anyway. Like he's gifted. Like he's a fan. He's probably one of, if not the greatest scorers in NBA history. But he just doesn't come off as like a leader to me.
I mean, he didn't get as much criticism as I thought he would. I seen like on ESPN and different things like that. People aren't killing him as much. Kyrie has got a lot of the blame. Ben Simmons has got a lot of the blame because KD, if you look at it, he was the only one there that showed up. Obviously, he got hurt, but he's the only consistent thing that they had all year. Besides that, everyone was kind of hurt or in and out the lineup for whatever their reasons are. And he had a bad series, which happens sometimes. Obviously, it's not supposed to happen, but I think if you look at his time in Brooklyn, it's been dysfunctional since the start. I mean, KD and Kyrie missed the first season. Then the second season, especially then when he gets hurt, like the second game of the season, you end up trading half of the roster to get Harden. KD and Harden and Kyrie get hurt in the playoffs. Now you think you're gonna have 3 superstars, you have 1. Then you're going up against the Milwaukee Bucks, who's a championship contender, and that's in the second round. You think if they end up being the 1 seed and they get the Hawks in the second round, they probably make it to the conference finals and lose to probably the Bucks in the conference finals. So then you get to this season, COVID thing happens, COVID restrictions happen. Kyrie ends up sitting out. James Harden doesn't like him, traded him. You get Ben. Ben ends up having a bad back or whatever it is. I think it's been unfortunate. You think if things kind of go their way, they may have 1 championship or at least 1 finals appearance. Definitely 1 conference finals appearance, like the way I just put it. So it's been real dysfunctional there. They need to get things together over there, and that's kind of been the biggest issue. So I'm not gonna knock him too much. It's not like he had all his weapons and they just lost. Things haven't really gone their way. He still takes a hit for that, and it's good. The criticism's going to be there for not playing well this series, but he's been the only consistent thing since he got there, since he came back.
But the criticism should be there too. Like you got, I don't think there's an excuse for not being able to get a game.
That's true. That's true. Also, I think Steve Nash got out coached this playoffs. I think
We don't think we know.
I think yeah, he got out coached this playoffs, and he never even tried LaMarcus Aldridge. I think LaMarcus Aldridge could have gave him a punch. Obviously not the greatest defender, but he gives you something you can post up, run different sets, different actions for pick and pop. Do you think they're blitzing KD off the screen? That's an open mid range jumper for LaMarcus Aldridge. He never even tries that or goes to that. They were mismatched on defense anyway. The Celtics are running simple offense. Set a screen, get the switch, give it to Tatum. Tatum's just working at it, a double team, or people over helping, or whatever the situation is. So that was going to happen regardless. I think they should have gave Aldridge a try. They should have tried something different. And like I said, KD was struggling. And for 3 games, I seen him trying to battle these guys on the block when it's not working. You're getting turnovers. You're not able to catch the ball. Like you're running the same thing for 3 games. So I think Nash got there early out coach this year.
Yeah, I mean, even like you probably would agree with this. I know Cam Thomas is a rookie, but I felt like he did a lot this year he warranted some playing time, especially in a series that got away from you. Once you go down 3-0, you gotta start kind of getting in your bag of tricks. Try anything to get you back in there. But that's what you're saying. Steve Nash got out coached. I think we can all agree on that. But then that's what I talk about when I mean a coach that just wasn't really qualified to have this job. I don't like a lot of people are saying it's like really they feel like it's really bad right now, where it's like are KD and Kyrie the ones running the organization instead of Sean Marks and ownership? To that I say no. Like, no, I think Sean Marks is the one still running the thing. With that said, are they coming with ideas and what they would like to see, what they would like to happen? Yeah, I bet they are. And any good organization outside of maybe the 90s Chicago Bulls are going to listen to what their superstars want. And they're I feel like they're just that's what they've been doing. They're listening to what these two want. And if it makes sense, then yeah, they've gone for it. Like I'm probably one of the few people that's going to say this. I don't think that what the Brooklyn Nets have done organizationally has really been outside of maybe bringing Steve Nash on, has really been that outlandish. Who doesn't make the Brooklyn deal? Like it's not like the Nets got fleeced when they made the deal with the Houston Rockets. That was a good deal. They didn't really. The only way that it would be bad is if they lose KD and Kyrie. And it doesn't seem like that's happening right now. So it's not like you're gonna end up in the same position you were pre-Sean Marks, where you traded for these old guys and you gave up premium picks, and then all these picks ended up being lottery picks to another team. Like it's not. I don't see it going that way.
No, me either. Like you said, things just like I said before, things just haven't worked out for them. Like if you like kind of just how I broke it down. This unfortunate. You think KD and Harden don't get hurt? You're probably in the finals last year, whether you win it, whether you don't. You're probably in the finals last year, and you probably end up winning it. So, and then this year, you think the COVID thing doesn't happen, or Kyrie gets the shot, or whatever. They lift the mandate earlier or something. Ben Simmons can come back and give you something after the trade. You may end up back in the finals again. You may end up in the finals this year. So it's just been some unfortunate things. Obviously, like I was saying, they need another wing or a forward behind KD. I think that's something they messed up. They have to get a little taller because they were being smalls would hurt them. But their defense, and I talked about this last week why I didn't pick them. Their defense was never good. I didn't think that the playoffs were going to come and they were just going to be this great defense. I think they were who they were in the playoffs, who they were in the regular season. We just thought that they had these two great superstars that can will them, but there wasn't a great defensive team in the regular season. They wasn't in the playoffs. They were undermanned, probably outcoached a couple times. They're exactly what they showed us from the regular season. We just thought, oh, it's playoff time. KD and Kyrie definitely pick it up.
Yeah. And you can't really kill anybody for thinking that because the history of the league is when you got stars, they can turn it up for you. And I guess maybe that's
The other team had stars too, so
when you have stars the caliber of KD and Kyrie. See, I'm gonna kind of go all over the place with this because I'm the same guy that gets mad at people when they talk about the Celtics and I'm like, is this the time where they finally arrive? And I'm like, what do you mean? Is this the time they finally arrived? They've been to what, two conference finals, three conference finals? They've been arrived. It doesn't matter how old they are. Like they've already done everything that top tier talent is supposed to do outside of making NBA finals. And they're young enough where it's okay that they haven't done that yet. Um, but like we're talking about guys the caliber of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, veteran players who have been to the finals, won championships. I guess maybe that comes with us. We watched LeBron do it with little to no help for so many years that maybe now we're just our expectations with everybody else who's kind of in that upper echelon is they can be able to will their team.
I think this showed us that the regular season still matters in a sense to and even Kyrie tried to bring it up about how the team isn't hasn't played all year together and they're not gelling. Regular season still matters, coaching still matters, defense still matters. And getting that together for the playoffs still matters. That on and off switch that people think is there, that is it's a thing in some cases, but playing at you coming into the playoffs playing at your best still matters. And I think that's what this showed us.
100%. And I mean, look, we can end it with this. Like, I don't. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be fine. Yes, they got swept. They did. I still think they went out bad. They're going to be fine. I think Sean Marks has shown us that he's one of the best GMs in the entire league. I can't see anybody walking into that Nets situation being able to turn it into what it is now. That team was bad. Like they had no premium picks because they were all going to Boston. It was just it was a circus. It was just a recurring cycle of you being bad with no way out in sight. And Sean Marks goes in there. Not only does he take on bad contracts, well, he takes on these bad contracts because he knows it's going to land him young talent. He takes on the Mozgov contract from the Lakers because it got him D'Angelo Russell. But then look at what not only what he was able to do in the draft when he first got the job, but what he's continued to do. He's been able he drafted Karis LeVert late in the first round. He drafted Jared Allen late in the first round. He's drafted Nick Claxton late in the first round. He drafted Cam Thomas late. All these guys that have been very, very Bruce Brown, different finds, Spencer Dinwiddie, all these guys that no other team is was really thinking about. He's brought them in. He's brought these guys in via free agency or draft. Specifically his drafting is what's been most impressive because he's drafted guys that are not lottery picks, not even close to lottery picks, and they've come out and they've played better than a lot of people that were drafted ahead of them. Right now, Karis LeVert and Jared Allen are all-star caliber players. Neither is a lottery pick. Like that's a big deal. And then you look at him bringing it like he brings in Ben Simmons and it's like, all right, like they have set up a foundation now where it's like, as long as Sean Marks is running the organization, the Brooklyn Nets are going to be fine for years to come.
Yeah, honestly, they have to, like I said, make a small couple tweaks and change up like maybe their forwards and get a little taller, but they're fine as is right now. Kind of. You think Joe Harris comes back? That's adding another shooter. If you keep Seth Curry, you get Ben Simmons back. And I think when you get Ben Simmons back, you try to rest KD a little more. I don't think there's any reason he should be playing 40 minutes a night for a whole season. I think you should be able to get him some more rest. So I think they're fine as is. Make a couple small tweaks here, but you just gotta get Ben Simmons back, get Joe Harris back. I think those two guys make a impact that if they were here this series, it would look completely different.
Right. Um, I'm guessing Meach probably can't call in right now because he
Right.
said he had something to do with six.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll wait on the Philly topic until we can get him to tap back in. Um, the other thing that happened that I thought was really interesting, the Miami Heat go ahead and take out the Atlanta Hawks in 5 games, win that thing 3-1. What I thought was interesting and why I think we really should, not that we haven't already, but why we really should consider them a team that's not only going to come out the East, but can realistically win a championship. The Miami Heat got some serious depth. This thing could go a whole bunch of different ways. Because I saw an article on The Athletic that was talking about Duncan Robinson possibly going. Kay, you know where I'm going with this because we talked about this with Mike in the chat the other day. If you're, I've kind of learned to just get over it. Maybe some fans are just like, oh, like how could you let Duncan Robinson go? Look, as bad as this might sound, players who are not like superstar players that come into Miami that just get turned into household names over there, they're all expendable. Pat Riley and everybody else in there just looks at them as just expendable. I can run you off a list of names that we all thought were great. And then Miami had no problem letting them go. They weren't that great after they left. And what else happened? Miami brought somebody else in with similar stories, whether it's Rodney Magruder, Hassan Whiteside, Derek Jones Jr., Justice Winslow, Josh Richardson, Kendrick Nunn, Okaro. Who else? So I feel like I can keep spewing off names. All these guys came through this Miami farm system, and it's like, where did they find these guys? Wow, look how good they are! Like this is amazing, and they just went with the wind. They were here one day, gone the next, and they didn't bat an eye, and they went and got more guys. Like we're talking about Duncan Robinson possibly leaving, and then look what they already had: Gabe Vincent, Max Struss, Caleb Martin. I feel like there's another guy in there. Like all more people that are just going like you shouldn't we shouldn't get too crazy about it whether or not they're going to keep Duncan Robinson because it's like we can find another one. We've done it, history tells us that number one. So I think the depth of Miami's crazy right now. Victor Oladipo found his way out of the rotation a lot because of his injury, and then Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry both get hurt. Victor Oladipo plays game. He plays game 4. He's able to get a win. They're able to get a win there, but he played very well in. Gets put into the starting lineup because of Butler's injury. Balls out, and then they go ahead and close things out. Like it's the next man up mentality in South Beach is just crazy right now. Like there's no worries about it, and it's just like anybody can fall out of a really good player in Miami can fall out of the rotation at any time. And it's like there's no worries over there.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I'm confused about what happened with Duncan Robinson because he had a great game 1, and then I don't know how he ended up falling out the rotation after that. But
Yeah, he got hurt.
yeah, I'm not sure what happened with him. But like you said, he's obviously a great shooter. I don't think he was ever a great defender. So he always, not that he lacked too much on that end, but I think he I don't say he's like he was nothing. He was replaceable, but I like he was like a shooter. I think he was slightly replaceable. Yeah.
But that's my thing. They're all replaceable. Like that. That's how. Look at history. Just look at history. We do it every year, and we'll continue to do it every year. It's like, look, Miami's got this amazing young talent, and they don't care. It's just like, in a way, like it's in you scratch my back, I scratch your back type of thing. Like you're gonna help us win right now, and I promise we will get you paid. We might not be the ones to pay you, but we will get you paid. And that's literally been look at all these guys that are left. I even when we were talking about it with Mike, I completely forgot about Derek Jones Jr. I love Derek Jones Jr. in Miami. Went got some money in Chicago. He's an afterthought to Heat fans now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, it's like you said, they're all replaceable. It's confusing because he had a great game 6, but He may end up getting back in the rotation and playing well later on in this playoffs. Obviously, they're going to the next round.
The
I would
thing,
say I would say they're gonna end up playing Philly, but we don't know yet.
that's why I'm like
So
I'm very excited for that Meech calling later when he
he
can get.
he could come back and end up hitting 6 threes in the game again, 7 threes in the game again. But like you said, all those guys are expendable. I think the Heat have shown that they're good at finding undrafted players and getting them the play at a very high level.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Spo said it the other night. Spo said it the other night. Like it could be any man up at any given time, any man's moment to shine at any given time. With Oladipo playing like this, we probably won't see. We might not see. We might not see a Duncan Robinson sighting for a little bit because Spo is known to ride the hot hand. Once you're out and somebody else is stepping up, he's kind of not going to go away from whoever's giving him good minutes at the time.
Yeah, definitely. So we like you said, you don't know what could happen. Obviously, Jimmy Butler went down, and then that's how Oladipo kind of got back in the lineup, and he's been playing well. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. Like I said, anything can happen. He can come back in and hit 7 threes or something. But that also for next season, that doesn't necessarily save his job. So I think, like you said, with the Heat, anyone's kind of it go either way for these guys.
Right, 100%. So we got a couple call-ins that we're gonna take. Meech, we're gonna save you because
Oh,
I
Mitch is back. Ah,
yeah, I see. Meech, we're gonna save you though. Don't call in right now because your call and we all know is gonna be a good one. I feel like I've been waiting on this one for a couple weeks too. Um, who's this? Jalen that's about to call in?
yeah,
Jalen that was making fun of Ben Simmons
yeah, back on that episode.
all right, go ahead,
Jayla,
let's bring him in. Let's bring him in.
Jayla, he said Ben Simmons is just a what he say?
He said Ben Simmons is just the what
I
did
think
he
he
say?
said he's just a screener in the playoffs or something.
But no, he's like the double dribble pass.
Dribble handoff. He's
Oh
just a,
yeah,
he's just a dribble handoff guy in the playoffs.
yeah. That was a good one. That was a good one. Hey, come on, Jalen. We waiting on you. Call in. Call in. I'm with it. I'm with it.
All right. Well, anyways, I think that Chicago series should be done tonight. I think both series that with the games tonight are done.
You know what's crazy? I was both you. I felt like still thought this one was gonna go like six, and I was still fierce on it, even though I said it at first it was gonna be a sweep. I'm like, look, if it's not a
I,
sweep, it's going five.
I said 5 or 6. I said they'll get one. Y'all were trying to say they want to get one. I said they'll get one, and they got one, and that's all I was saying. I said they could get you one,
I'll be here
and
right now telling y'all, even if Zach LaVine was playing tonight, Chicago still was not gonna win this game.
yeah, it was over for them either way. But what happened in game two is exactly what I said would happen. Obviously, I expected Zach LaVine to maybe play a little better and help them maybe still win in Chicago. So I thought it'd be 2-2. But shout out to the Bucks; they're playing very well even without Chris Middleton. I think I don't know what happened with the Bulls, but I think that the not having Middleton will hurt them a lot more next round than it will hurt them this round. That didn't hurt them this round. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. But shout out to the Bucks; they're playing very well. Grayson Allen scoring 27, hitting a couple threes, and Bobby Porter's getting inserted into the starting lineup.
100%, 100%. We got our first call in right now. Jalen, welcome back into the show.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, my man?
Just been enjoying these playoff games, man. It's in the group chat, texting Kayson about it, but I'm happy we back on the show with it.
We gotta get your thoughts on the Nets first. What you think about the series? What you think about how the Nets went out?
Is everything coming in good? By the way, the sound is good, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all can too. Y'all watching from the feed. Let me know.
Yeah, I think it sounds fine. Did Jayla hear me?
Jalen, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear Kayson?
Nah.
Ooh, yeah, he's not in my MIDI right now. Yeah, because my do not disturb. It's not. Whoa.
All right. Some technical difficulties while we get this together.
Yeah. Um. Let me try to get him back in. Jay, give us about a minute. We'll get you back on here.
All right, bet.
Sorry about that one, folks. But let's try. Let's see if I can try.
Actually, I don't think mine's is like that.
It might just be my settings too, but sorry about that one, ladies and gentlemen. We'll definitely get that one sorted out in a second.
Bluetooth connected.
I want to see something.
I got it now. Jay, go ahead, give me a call back. Go ahead, let's get that call back in and let's get this party started. Sorry about that one. Go ahead, let's get that call back in and let's get this party started.
Yeah, and I think it's over for the Nuggets too. I think they should be happy to get that one game in game 4. I think it's over for the Nuggets too. I think they should be happy to get. They obviously.
We can hear the.
I think Nuggets too. I think they should be happy to get. They obviously. You hear what?
We can hear the. We can hear the feedback.
Okay. I think we should be good now. I think they should be happy that they got that game in game 4. They obviously played their heart out there. It was at home, backs against the wall. But I think the Warriors ended tonight in game 5. I was about to say an oracle, but it's not an oracle. But I still think it'll be tough for them to win in Golden State.
I think that that's all she wrote for Denver.
It might be a blowout too, to be honest.
Yeah, well, they're gonna premiere the death lineup tonight. Jalen, we all good now?
Yeah, we good.
Jalen, can you hear me now?
Kenny?
No, I don't think so.
Is Kayson coming in for you?
No, I don't hear him.
Oh man, that's not.
What if I do it that way? We're gonna have feedback. That's interesting.
Man.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, go ahead. Let's get
ask him the question. Just ask him what you think about the Nets series, Rich.
What do you think? What do you think about the Nets series right now?
Oh, it's over.
Well, it's over. But yeah, what do you think about that Nets series?
I feel like Kevin Durant played really bad. That's obvious. I feel like Steve Nash didn't do a good job. I feel like he's getting a little too much backlash though, because I feel like they don't have the proper roster. I feel like their roster is not really that good. They have too many guards, no wings. The big man plays sketchy. And going into next year, I feel like they're going to have to – it's going to be tough. They're going to have to fill holes. Bruce Brown, I believe his contract is up. Ben Simmons will come back, so that's a good thing right there. I don't know if they bring Drummond back. Claxton is gonna have to work on his damn free throws if he wants to be a contributor. And so I have to see how that roster look for next year. But as of right now, in that last series, that was disappointing. I didn't think they was gonna win, but how they went out was disappointing. And the Celtics, I feel like, is the championship favorite right now. The way they could play defense, how versatile they are, and they got two guys that could get you 30 on any night. That's my championship favorite.
So you got Boston beating Milwaukee next round.
Yeah.
And how many games?
6.
6.
Me and him have a bet on this.
Mm-hmm.
I picked the Bucks in 6.
Yeah, I'm with Kayson. I got the Bucks.
Even with no Middleton.
Middleton's not expected to be out this entire series.
Yeah, he is.
He is?
Yeah, I think he's out.
I mean, he's got how long has he been out?
A week.
We're already approaching a week now that he's been out. I thought it was only 2 weeks that he was supposed to be out.
But Woj said today that they're going to reevaluate him in 2 weeks.
Let me see. I think it's about 2 to 3 weeks.
And he has the MCL. That's the same thing that kept KD and
So
AD out for like 4 weeks.
if you already guaranteed a week, that's like 3 games into the series.
So it's a possibility that he could come back in this series.
No,
not that it's
I don't
a big
think
one,
so.
it's a possibility.
No.
How not? Why not?
He's because the same injury he has he has a MCL sprain.
Yeah, it's his MCL sprain.
That's the same thing KD had, and he missed like a month and some change. And AD had the same thing this year. They missed like a month and some change.
Well, KD's built like a toothpick, and AD just can't. AD's can't stay healthy to save his life.
They're gonna reevaluate him in a week. I think they're not gonna announce it, but I think he's out that series. I can't see him coming back.
Jason, thanks. Well, I'm not all right. So I'm still on Kayson's side with it though. I think Drew Holiday can be a hell of a player. There were certain points where you were saying during the NBA Finals that he was stepping up more. It's not the whole Finals, but there was a couple times where you were like, Drew Holiday is giving them more than Chris Middleton is.
I mean, that's true. That's because Middleton is habitual folder.
I feel like
wait. What was that?
I shouldn't say not a folder, but he knows how to not show up in certain games.
All right, I'm not doing this.
He's a roller coaster. We talked about that last year. He's a roller coaster.
The Chris Middleton hate's been real.
That's not hate. That's real, bro. He does. He's up and down. He doesn't show up every game. He does not show up every game.
Okay, so 5 days ago, he sprained it, and he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. He's expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks. I'm seeing.
Okay, so then he might be out this whole series, but I'm still not counting Milwaukee. I'm still not counting Milwaukee out of the series.
Honestly, even if they had him, I feel like Boston is just a better team.
Without Middleton,
I feel like people are underestimating. Like
I'm not.
They swept the net.
Yeah, but they all right. So Boston was unequivocally like they were supposed to win that series. Even with me saying what I said about that series going in, they were supposed to win that team. Boston was one of the hottest.
Absolutely. I think it's shocking that they swept them.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're all shocked at.
Because out of everybody, I feel like they easily had the toughest first round matchup.
Did we all think that was going 6-7 games?
Sweet.
Did we all think that was going 6-7 games?
I had 6.
Yeah.
All
right. Fair enough.
All right. With no Middleton,
and the
Celtics might get it.
They're like the only team to get a sweep with the toughest matchup.
Yeah, I feel like that's an NBA first. Kay, you had something for us?
I said without Middleton, the Celtics might win. I'm scared for the Bucks without Middleton in this one. They need Middleton. They need that scoring.
I'm still gonna give the Bucks a shot. Because it's not like the Celtics have a big three. So you're going duo for duo. You're going Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum versus Drew Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
See, that's the problem though. It's supposed to be It's supposed to be Middleton.
And I feel like
Giannis.
Points may be hard to come by.
But listen, it is supposed to be Chris Middleton and Giannis versus the other two. But having Drew Holiday as your next man up is not a bad way to go.
Holiday has to shut down Brown. He has to shut down.
He can do that. He can do that. Drew Holiday's consistently been one of the better defenders in the league. If you go back to the Portland series with the Pelicans, the whole reason why they did what they did was because of what Rondo and Holiday were doing to Damian Lillard.
If he could shut down
that's
Brown,
definitely a fact.
He has to shut down Brown. That he has to win the defensive matchup.
I'm just saying he has the skill set to be able to do that.
I'm sticking with my pick.
Like their defense is one thing, but I just feel like scoring the ball is going to be tough for them.
The Milwaukee Bucks are still a team that's surrounded by shooters. So I think I actually think that this is still a good matchup for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a better defensive matchup that the Celtics are going to see. Like leaps and bounds better than what they just saw with Brooklyn. And then on top of it, look, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm not betting against the defending champs, not in the semis. Maybe maybe the conference finals, not the semis.
Listen, man, I just don't know how they're gonna score versus Boston.
You might have to say this to Jalen because he can't hear me. But I think the problem for the Bucks is gonna be coming down the stretch with no Middleton. How are they gonna get buckets? Because Middleton's usually their closer.
Did you catch that?
What happened?
Kayson saying he wants to know how they're going to be able to get buckets down the stretch because Middleton's been their closer.
Exactly, and buckets. Period. Grayson Allen was getting 27 points versus the Bulls. I'm not thinking that's going to happen versus the Celtics. You know what I mean? Brook Lopez having 20, 23, 25. Like, the Bulls defense is really bad. Like, going against the Celtics, Giannis is going to do what he does. But you're going to have to now rely on Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, why do y'all keep Xing Drew Holiday? Why y'all keep Xing Drew Holiday out the equation?
Oh, even if he does what he does, though, like just outside of them two, I'm not. It's gonna be. I think they're gonna be really competitive. But them beating Boston, I don't know. Plus with home court, like
it's
not.
It's gonna be.
I think people got the Celtics messed up.
Not that I think that this is going to be a series. I'm saying I think this goes about 6-7 games, and then you're saying that you're expecting them to rely on these other dudes. But we got to say the same thing about the Celtics. Do we expect Pritchard and who's the other kid that was ball?
Listen, this is Marcus Smart fan club right here.
Love Marcus Smart. Love Marcus Smart. I think he's actually improved as a player. Like Usually I'm the guy that goes to, like, I did it when Terry Rozier was their starter. I'm like, this is like Reggie Jackson all over again. Like, you think you're a starter, but you're not. I'm not even mad that Marcus Smart is a starter. I think, like, I'm comfortable with him being a starting point guard for the Celtics.
Nah, he definitely took the role and excelled.
Like, that's cool. But are you expecting Pritchard?
Grant Williams.
And I didn't even know Luke Cornett was on the Celtics.
Grant Williams.
Like, are you expecting Pritchard and this kid Williams to ball out against the Bucks like they did against the Nets?
Not in the same way, but I feel like they're all, like, just overall, just head to toe, like, the team is just better. Like, they even have Robert Williams coming off the bench.
That's fine.
They have Al Horford is always solid. Like, they just got a really good team.
We see how good their defense can be against the Nets. I think they're really gonna miss Chris Middleton in this series. They're gonna need those. They're gonna need a person who can get a bucket on his own.
We know Giannis can do it. We know Drew Holiday can do it. I'm going back into the box scores now because now I want to look at the rest. Look, Bobby Portis can do some things. Y'all gonna laugh at me, but I'm so sick. Like, Brook Lopez is a big man that can stretch the floor for you. Bobby Portis is solid. I get what y'all saying about Wesley Matthews.
I think
Connaughton coming on. Well, he didn't even play that well the other night.
To me, the series is gonna come down the stretch because it's gonna be a defensive battle. Down the stretch, who can get a bucket? And I think without Chris Middleton, that really hurts the Bucks. I'm sticking with my pick, Bucks in 6, but I'm scared for it.
I feel you. Does George Hill get back in the rotation now?
I think he's hurt.
Oh, that's what it is. All right, never mind. Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Now I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say on it, man. I'm with you, Kay. There is reason to be worried, but I'm sticking to it. I got Bucks in. I'll take Bucks in 6. Because if it goes 7, I gotta go with the Celtics. I'll take Bucks in 6.
If it goes 7, I gotta go with the Bucks in 6.
Jay, did we lose Jalen?
Seems like it.
Damn, I think we lost Jalen. All right. Well, hopefully we get him back in the comments. It is what it is. That was I would have I definitely wanted to ask him about more about like his thoughts on Ben Simmons, especially after the last time that we talked. But yeah, before we get Meech on, what do we got tonight? Tonight we got
It's the Bucks and the
I think both games tonight are closeouts. Warriors go for the sweep. They're introducing the new death lineup of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green. So, not the biggest lineup, but I mean, hey, Jordan Poole has excelled tremendously. And yeah, this could be scary, man.
Yeah, I said that earlier. I think both series are over. Uh, the Bucks don't have Levine, so I think that's really gonna hurt them. They seem like they are kind of gonna hang with the Bucks already. So no Levine. The Bucks can be home in Game 5. The Bucks see that the Celtics have advanced already. I don't think they want to play around. I think Giannis said last year in the playoffs, you can't play with your food. I think he's coming out with that mindset again. They gotta get ready for the Celtics. They can't play around too much. And that the Warrior series Loki should have been a sweep, honestly. So I think that one's over.
Yeah, same here. How about that? So how about that Memphis Minnesota game last night? That thing had me up out my chair at the end, and you had a lot of ups and downs at the end of the stretch in that game. Minnesota's had a couple games in this series where they've been up and should have been able to close out. I don't know if that's youth or if it's just Memphis's will to win. But when I was watching yesterday's game, especially down the stretch, I'm looking at, Cat hits a big three to keep him in it. Then, like, I could see I'm about to get the sequence of plays, like, out of order. There was one point where, like, Cat messed it up for him, big time. So it's like, all right, they look like they're going to lose. Anthony Edwards hits a huge three to tie the game late with, like, 9 seconds left or 8 seconds left. So maybe even 3. No, yeah, it was like 8 seconds left, and then there's 3 seconds on the clock after he hits it. I feel like he did something, too, that kind of messed it up for Minnesota. Ja gets the ball, goes into traffic, gets a layup for the win. I thought that game was straight up insanity. I ran out of my chair. This series, look, a lot of you guys said it was going to be a sweep. I told you guys it wasn't going to be a sweep. I picked Memphis to win, but I said Minnesota was going to be able to hang with them in these games, and they've been able to do it. What are we thinking so far? Was like Memphis closes out in Minnesota tomorrow night or what?
No, it goes 7.
Woo!
I can't. I go 7. The series has been crazy. It's kind of been back and forth. If you think about it, and we talked about this on this last week. I think Minnesota kind of has maybe more firepower at the moment, even though Desmond Bane is playing great this series. Your man Jared Jackson Jr. cannot stay out of foul trouble. I think that's hurting them. Excuse me. I think that's hurting them a lot. I mean, obviously, Karl-Anthony Towns can't stay out of foul trouble, but he's been able to be in the game long enough to be effective. In the 2 games they won, I think he's averaging like 20 and 10. And before last night, the games they lost, he's averaging like 8 or whatever. So I think Jared Jackson Jr., he should be their second best player, and I having him out there is really hurting them. So, and Memphis, for some reason, why just keeps playing from behind. I think that's hurting them, or maybe that's where they want to be because they keep coming back from behind. But I think that's hurting them. I don't think they can go to Minnesota in this Game 6, a do or die situation. Nah, Patrick Beverly is. They're gonna be ready. So I don't think you can get behind in that game and think you're coming back. So I'm gonna pick Minnesota to get that one. I think they're back in Memphis for Game 7 on Sunday.
I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people might not agree with here. More so the 2 seed, but the 1 and 2 seeds in the West are gonna be in some trouble the rest of this playoffs. Because I feel I might pick Phoenix in New Orleans to go 7-2.
I honestly think that's good for Phoenix.
For look, history has showed us if you have to play a full 7 games out the gate, it's gonna be very tough for you to make a run moving forward.
I think they'll be fine. I think that's better for them for the fact that I don't see them losing the Game 7 at home in Phoenix. And the longer this Pelican series goes, the more time Devin Booker has to get healthy. I think if that you probably don't want that series to go 7, but it does go 7, that stalls you from playing in the next round. Obviously, the Pelicans are playing good. They have 2 great scorers, and you may be scared a little bit, but I think having that game 7 at home, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Obviously, you don't want to be there, but it stalls you to get Devin Booker back a little bit, and maybe now he comes back game 2 instead of coming back game 4 next round.
Well, I mean, hey, my thing with it is, yes, you'll get Devin Booker back, but your point guard is pushing 40 years old. He's over the hump in his 30s. The Pelicans, shout out my Queens boy, the Puerto Rican kid from Queens, Alvarado, has definitely been frustrating the heck out of Chris Paul in these games. This kid was an absolute steal for the New Orleans Pelicans. The young boys in New Orleans, with the defense that they've been putting on, has definitely been scary for them. Yes, you can get Devin Booker back, but you're going 7 games in the first round. You're risking a lot with Chris Paul, who has been known to have his own injury problems in the past.
Yeah, Jalen just said that in the chat too. He said that it's risky because CP can get hurt. I think you have to, and I think they started doing it last night a little bit. You have to put another guard out there with him, whether it's Cameron Payne, and they play Holiday a little bit, and let that point guard bring the ball up a little bit and get him off ball. I think CP, if you've seen earlier in the series, he's been trying to save his energy for the fourth quarters. I think you just have to you would have to manage him better, knowing that it's probably going 7. So I would try to cut his minutes back a little bit, save him more for the fourth quarter, and then put him out there with another guard who's going to handle the ball and let him play like he was doing last night, a little bit off the ball, catching the ball on the move, playing out of pick and rolls and things like that. Instead of battling Alvarado in the backcourt, just put another guard out there and let that guard bring the ball up the court. Which with Devin Booker, that's probably what would be happening right now. But obviously, D-Book not being there is hurting them. But the thing is, would you rather? Obviously, we're at the point we're at right now. If they finish this series next game, I'm pretty sure this Mavs series is going to be over the same night. They probably start game 1 2 or 3 days later. So you'll be into the second round 2 or 3 days later, probably without Devin Booker. So you'll probably be 3-4 games into that next round series against probably the Mavs.
But I'm not
without
scared.
Devin Booker.
I'm not scared. If I'm Phoenix, like I'm okay. I'm okay with having to play the Mavs without Devin Booker. At least for like a game.
I could see why you say that. Obviously, you can probably put Mikal Bridges on Luka, try to slow him down, stay home on some of the shooters, possibly. But I think if I could stall it a little bit and then get Devin Booker back around game 2, hopefully game 1, and go into that second round, maybe full strength. Even though we battled that whole first round, Devin Booker wasn't in that 7-game series, so at least he's rested.
Right. Hey man, we'll see. Like obviously that's who you want over there. But we'll definitely see. Meech, we have I did this purposely. We have pretty much knocked everything out today that we need. Well, before Meech calls in, I want to give a round of applause. Rookie of the year, Scotty Barnes. Rookie of the year, Scotty Barnes. Shout out Scotty Barnes, Rookie of the year. I thought Cade Cunningham should have got more. I thought he had a chance to win it. Did they come out with final voting? Who finished second and who finished third?
It was Cade second. No, it was Mobley second, Cade third.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. It seems like what it should have been. But shout out to Scotty Barnes, man. Like what Toronto's been doing to even get to this point, they couldn't have done that without him. I don't think he's going to be the best rookie from this class, but he hell of a job. And another reason why I said I think this class is going to go down in history with the draft classes of the past. Then also most improved player goes to Ja Morant. I wasn't too excited about it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Ja is just doing everything he's supposed to do. You were the second overall pick. Was this year 3 now? You took the steps that you're supposed to be taking as a second overall pick. Like, I'm not shocked at this. He went and gave his trophy to Bane after it was presented to him. Bane is a guy I definitely thought should have and could have won this award. I also think that I was on the DeJounte Murray train the entire year. I can't believe that he didn't win this award. I thought he should have been the clear-cut favorite to win this award. But
to be honest,
I do not agree with Ja Morant winning Most Improved Player at all, especially with the other cases that were there. Jordan Poole.
Yeah, honestly, I think Desmond Bain, he gave it the trophy to Desmond Bain, but did anyone know who Desmond Bain was last year? Because I didn't.
That's literally a reason why you should win Most Improved. Like I had no idea who Desmond Bain was last year.
Exactly. I think Desmond Bain, low-key, should have been the winner. Obviously, Poole had a case, Murray, but Murray's been on that trajectory for a little bit now. Obviously, he was a late round pick, but we seen he has that growth over his last couple of seasons. So I don't know if it was that great of a jump, but it is a jump. But I think Desmond Bain, nobody knew who that guy was last year. At least I knew who Jordan Poole was last year. I did not know who Desmond Bain was last year. He's the starting two guard. He's having a great series right now on the second team in the Western Conference. So I think Desmond Bain low-key should have won it.
And we're still waiting. I agree, by the way. We're still waiting on Coach of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, correct? Executive of the Year too.
Yeah, I think so.
And then of course we won't get MVP. Or no. They're not. Are they like not doing the NBA awards anymore?
No, I don't think so. After the season thing, no.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I feel that they should be doing this. Like,
I mean, if they're gonna do MVP, they need to hurry up and put it out there because Joker's going home tonight.
Joker ain't winning MVP. Yeah, you're right though. They should put it out there before Embiid has to go home. Meech, go ahead. Let's wrap this thing up with that Philly 76ers series. Hopefully we don't have the same technical difficulties we had with Jalen. But Meech, I'm waiting on you. Go ahead, call in so we can wrap this thing up.
Did you try to switch it around a little bit?
I had my ladies and gentlemen, I had my do not disturb on when he called. I changed my sound settings and it still didn't work, but now the do not disturb appears to be off. So maybe we can get everything in order. Hopefully we will see. We will see as we wait on the great Meech with some fire.
So as we're talking about, shout out to Desmond Bain. I think he's really been saving the Grizzlies a little bit in this series. He may have looked like their best player. Not even offensively, but defensively too. If you think about that last play, he was the one who stopped. Not the last play, the play that helped him go up 3. He stopped D'Angelo Russell. I think he's been great on defense and offense this series.
Amazing.
So shout out to Desmond Bain. I think he hit 7 threes one game, and I think like 7 threes again the next game. He's been
huge for them. This Memphis, I think, like I said, man, I think this Memphis team is next up. They're special.
Brooks.
I've been picking them to actually go to the conference finals. I'm scared for them if this thing does go 7 because I think it's going to be tough to beat a Golden State team coming off a 7-game series.
They're young. I don't think that's the issue. Ja Morant's been hinting that he's hurt. I think that's going to be a problem for them, especially next round. Even if Ja Morant was fully healthy, I don't think they're getting past the Warriors. But right. Brooks has to play a lot better. Brooks was terrible last night. If they're going to win, especially with Ja Morant not playing as well and the defense so focused on Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks has to play better.
Right. I feel you. I think I did just have Meech on, but I don't know if he's still there. Let me see if I can connect him back in. Meech, are you there?
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Kay, we good there?
I can hear him.
Yeah, we good.
Can you hear Kayson as well?
Nah, I don't hear Kay.
Oh, no. Here we go again. Oh.
You just got to do the same thing.
You wanted him just to ask me questions?
Yeah, I mean, if you can find a way to get connected to hear what Kayson's saying, that would be easier too.
You can just start it off, and then if anything,
we can go with this thing in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, you can start off. I'll tell you what.
I don't want you to pick up no feedback.
If you can get like another device where you can get the audio.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, I got it right here.
All right, perfect. So yeah, first and foremost, man. So look, Meech is a friend of the show. Meech's whole big thing for ending up on this show is for the so I've met Meech through Kayson, even though we're all from the same neighborhood. I met Meech through Kayson specifically because Meech kept coming on the live chat calling Doc, and I couldn't believe it. Called Doc Rivers just a bad coach and all this other stuff. And I'm like, Doc Rivers, the future Hall of Famer? I couldn't believe it. And then you know what? I forgot what series it was. I feel like it was
Nuggets Clippers.
Once they went down in that one, I was like, this guy's on to something here. And I've been with him ever since. I have not been. I'm like, he was right the whole time. I was wrong. This guy, and I just seen the stat. I think he's like alone in this. He's the only coach to blow a 3-0, 3-1 series lead 8 times in his career. 8 times. He stands alone on that island. So here we are. The Philadelphia 76ers were up 3-0. Go home. They go home to get to or no, they actually were up 3-0. They lose the second game in Toronto, so they're up 3-1. They go home to close this thing out, and they lose. Now it's 3-2. We're back in Toronto for a game 6. Let me remind you that the stats say, the numbers say, winners of game 5 are favored to win the series. Now we also add in Doc Rivers' coaching history. And I also want to point out, I'm the guy that said, once they acquired Harden, you got Doc Rivers, who's made a name for himself of throwing away leads in the playoffs, paired with James Harden, who has had a history in his career of just going down bad in the playoffs. I always thought it was a recipe for disaster. And now we got the 76ers in some serious trouble. Meech, the floor is yours.
Hey, man, I'm going to start it off. Doc Rivers K, man. Doc Rivers K, man. You know, like Doc Rivers. Nah. But all seriousness, I'm not going to really kick them too much today, surprisingly, because they are still up in the series. And I'm waiting for them to lose so I can kick him when he's down. I don't want to jinx it. But he goes 3-3. I don't see going 3-3 in this series is not going to do Philly any good going to game 7. Then you have to play Miami. This is not going to do them any good. You have an older team. You have Maxey, but we see how Miami did Trae Young. So I don't really expect too much from Maxey out that series. James Harden, he seems like a step slower or hurt. Okay, was saying his hamstring might be bothering him from last show. But I'm not going to really kick Doc Rivers too crazy today because I don't want to jinx it, man. I want to keep my hopes high. I want to see Rome fall again. So that's all I got to say about Doc Rivers today, man. Hopefully next show. But also, not to throw the show off too much, I want to mention this too. For New York, we all from New York. You two from Broward, from CI. Another year, another winless, championship-less year for New York basketball. This is the 49th year we haven't seen a championship. So that's all I want to say right now. It's all on you, Rich.
Look, hey man, it's a Knicks town, but I mean, I think Brooklyn's gonna kind of be holding things down for a little bit. I'm sorry to spoil it for Knicks fans. I just think they have a problem building teams over there. Number one, but then number two, like I don't know, like I feel the Knicks have never committed to a rebuild ever. I feel like they need to commit to RJ Barrett and these young boys. Now that might mean having to change coaches. I know that seems dysfunctional, and to a degree it is, but you got to get this thing, the COVID year, 2020, it was 2021 when they made the playoffs. There were no fans there. Julius Randle doesn't look like the same guy, but RJ Barrett's just continued to get better. Y'all need to ride the hot hand, roll with him. You're not getting, you're not getting you're not getting Mitchell. You're not getting Spider Mitchell. Sorry, it's not happening. Maybe someone else will come, but you got nice young pieces. You got nice young pieces. Go ahead and roll with that. I already said what I said about the Nets. I think as long as Sean Marks is running the show over there, they're gonna be good. But it is what it is. I want to keep in on this this Philly series though.
Let's get back to Philly, man.
Like, what is there any real chance? Like, all right, let's stop kicking Doc while he's down a little bit. Is there any real shot that they can win in Toronto tomorrow night?
Yeah, I always think when you have Embiid on the floor, I always think it's a shot. I'm just gonna put it like that. I always think it's a shot. You know, this playoffs, it's been very shaky. We've been seeing a lot of coaching mistakes. That's one thing I want to say too. So we had Doc Rivers, Steve Nash, and now Chris Finch for Minnesota. I feel like these are like the three worst coaches I've seen all year. It's like it's ridiculous. Especially Chris Finch. It's like, bro, what do you like? They should be out of the series 4-1. But I feel like when you have Nick Nurse and Doc Rivers going up, it's really going to depend on 76ers players showing up and how they manage it. And that's why I'm not too confident right now. But we're going to see. We're going to see. When he loses, I'm going to kick him when he's down, man. That's all you need to know. And Kay, I sent Kay a video today with Doc Rivers where the media was, they were setting him on fire about him blowing these leads. And he did the same thing. He didn't really take any accountability. He tried to break up excuses. He said in 2003, the Orlando team, how they lost to the Pistons that year, and Pistons went to win the championship. But I don't think that Pistons team won that championship that year. I think it was 2004 they won that championship. If I'm not mistaken.
It was 2004.
But he was talking about, look at our roster, look at what, like, bro, come on, you don't do that, man. That's the same thing he did to Ben Simmons, same thing he did to Paul George, and it seems like the same thing he did with James Harden a little earlier in the season. So Doc Rivers, I don't know, man, but it is still hope that Philly could definitely take this game, but I'm not too sure of it.
Well, if they take it, then at least you get to kick him while he's down once they lose to Miami. Because that's a coaching mismatch all day, number one. But then number two, they just don't have the person. It's weird. People might think I'm crazy for saying that. Like, they don't have the personnel to compete with Miami. Top to bottom, they really don't. You're coming in with Embiid. Embiid would get his against Miami, but he's also got the thumb injury that he's dealing with now. Harden looks like a complete shell of himself. I think that the defense that they'd run on Harden, he would just look terrible in that series. And then
they don't throw too much bodies.
You can't really line anybody else on the Philly side against Miami's players and expect them to do much. Miami is head and shoulders better than them, and Philly's got a lot to work on this offseason. The rumors are out there too. Meech, we talked about this through DMs like a while back. Do not Daryl Morey. Do not replace Doc Rivers with Mike D'Antoni. That's even worse.
Oh my God, Rich, this is what we're speaking about. It's like they keep recycling these old coaches who have not adapted to the new league. I feel like you have to try something new. You see what's going on in Boston. Boston had Brad Stevens and now Emmy, who are, these coaches are coming out, showing out younger coaches who are more relatable to these players. And they have something to prove. I don't know why you keep bringing in these old coaches who have not proved nothing since the new league of the Warriors taking over. They have not adapted. We see the same thing with Doc, with D'Antoni, with Thibodeau. It's like these coaches, why are they still here? Why do they still have a job? I don't know.
Do we see this Toronto series going 7?
Meech, did you get that?
Yeah, I heard.
Did you get what Kayson said?
I'm waiting on the stream. My bad. Say that. Can you repeat what you said?
Does this Toronto series go 7 games?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't been really watching this series as in depth.
Tomorrow's game 6.
Yeah, I haven't been watching this series to see how it's been. I've been really just watching highlights. The only series I've been really tuned in is the Minnesota Memphis series. But this series, if it does, I don't know. Then Toronto, that atmosphere is crazy. Nick Nurse is, he's a great coach. So I could see it going to 7. If it does go to 7, it's not good for Philly either way because you're gonna get Miami like almost a week of rest over you. So it's a lose-lose.
Right.
If it does go to 7 and they win. So I really don't know. I want to pull back because I haven't had the best luck and I want to see Doc Rivers lose. So I'm not.
So why? Hold on, because it sounds like you actually have a problem with Doc Rivers. Is that true?
Yeah, I got a problem. Yeah, I have a problem with Doc Rivers.
What is now? Hold on, because we might actually have to play like some Dr. Phil Oprah type stuff here right now. Like what's going on? What happened?
Listen, man, when they gas you, they call you one of the greatest, and you're not. And when you seen your boy Paul George just, man, when your favorite player taking all the heat, K could feel this. When your favorite player is Westbrook, when your favorite player is Westbrook, and you see it's not Westbrook's fault. When I'm watching Paul George, and you see it's not solely on Paul George for a meltdown, and now Ben Simmons is going through the same thing, and we see like James Harden is kind of. As a coach, he doesn't take no accountability at all. He kind of like they keep riding this horse in 2018 that won in the Stone Age. The league is nothing like that no more. Yeah, Doc Rivers, I got problems with Doc Rivers, man. I got problems with Doc. He gonna have to see.
So the Doc Rivers discussion with you never happened until this was never a thing until Paul George became a Clipper.
You know what it was? I never really paid attention as in depth until Paul to the Clippers. Because when I seen that meltdown and I was seeing his, no in-game adjustments, just doing weird things that coaches don't do, not taking timeouts in certain situations, or even when they go to the huddle, he's not even saying anything. The plays he's running is mostly ISO ball, and you got, when we seen that meltdown in Nuggets, they was playing a lot of ISO ball, and these players are tired. You see in the third or fourth quarter, Kawhi and Paul George weren't hitting nothing. It's like, how are you going to make it easier for these players to score? That's as a coach, you should try to implement something to make it easier for these players to score. Same thing when Ben Simmons was going through his meltdown. I like Ben Simmons. I'm not like, I'm not one of his, that's not one of my favorite players, but I do have respect for Ben Simmons. I think he could bowl. But when you see these certain things going on, even like with the Steve Nash, when I was telling Kay, Steve Nash, you got to make it easier for KD to score. You could see how Boston is playing him. You got to find some way to get your star players some looks that's not too hard, that he has to fight every possession. You can tire out your players. So my whole thing was Doc Rivers. Once the Clippers situation happened, I was really honed in and seeing how he was playing. Then the next year, Paul George played completely better with Ty Lue. You know what I mean? So it's obviously something wrong with his system and how he was running things.
I got this going 7.
7, huh?
Yeah, I think Toronto. They're gonna be in Toronto tomorrow. I think Toronto has some momentum. Like Meech was saying, the crowd is gonna be going crazy. You know how that Toronto crowd gets. I think Toronto has maybe found a couple things that they like, and then those guys just have more confidence than what they had a few games ago. So I see this going 7. I would be surprised if Philly goes in to Toronto and gets a win. Joel Embiid would have to go like 45-13, I think, for them to get a dub.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't see Joel Embiid doing that in his present state either. Not that a thumb injury is the worst thing to happen to you, but it just seems because he didn't even seem. I was watching him in game 5. He wasn't aggressive like that either. And there's some things going on in Philly. That's like, did y'all saw his press conference where he kind of called out Harden and Doc at the same time?
I missed that one. I gotta go check that out.
I mean, he was basically like, I've been saying this since he's got here. He's got to be more, talking about Harden. He's got to be more aggressive. He's got to go out and beat him. And I forget, what did he say? He transitioned from that into Doc.
He said the coaches have to be the one to tell him to be more aggressive. He said I shouldn't be. He said I'm not the one who should be telling them this. The coaches should be telling them that he has to be more aggressive.
Got it. Yeah. So I mean, call out in the same thing. Philly's in disaster right now. This is not good. This is not good. You might have to hit the panic button. If they lose tonight, they deserve all the harsh criticism, all of it. And remember, Philadelphia is a lot like New York. The fans there will let you hear it.
That is true.
Is K speaking right now?
No,
he was. Well, he was about to.
Oh, okay. This one thing I was gonna say. I don't really like how when players or coaches, when you call out people within your team publicly, or when they call out people on the other team publicly, like that's not what Bruce Brown did before the Celtics series.
Yeah, it was bad.
And Joel Embiid saying like Doc Rivers coming out saying stuff publicly about their like I feel like you should just take the accountability if that's the point. If that's the case, I don't think you do that. That doesn't really do anything for nobody. You know what I mean? So,
are y'all ready for this? Ben Simmons would still be in Philadelphia right now if it wasn't for Doc Rivers.
I agree.
Doc Rivers' comments at the end of last season are the result of Ben Simmons wanting out of Philly were caused directly by Doc Rivers calling him out at the end of that series.
I think the whole city turned on him too, though, because if you look at, that's why I was.
I don't agree with that. There's ample amount of tape and radio show recordings where people were showing Ben Simmons love. It was just like, we just want you to shoot. Like, do you see? There's videos of him at the line, and like when he attempted a shot, and there's people in the fans like throwing their hands up, clapping. Like they never turned on him until he wanted out.
Now I think after that Hawks series, especially when that meme came out when Trae Young was right there, he didn't shoot the shot. That killed him a lot, especially when the news broadcasters when Philly had that flood. I'll never forget this. When Philly had that flood and it was a garbage can going down the flood of water, and they said Ben Simmons is on the screen right now. I was like, come on, you can't how do you do that to your players, bro? So if somebody did that to me, I want out. The city, I feel like Philly is really petty. The city of Philadelphia is really petty. Like you said, like New York, like Boston. I would have wanted out as soon as I seen that because they went too far. They were doing too much stuff, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't really got much to add, man. We got anything else before we get out of here?
New York is probably not a better place for him, man.
Well, he's lucky because he's in Brooklyn. If he was with the Knicks, it'd be a different story. He'll still catch it a little bit because he is in New York, but he's with the Nets. Even though the Nets are the better team, it's not, the Knicks are still like the majority team in New York in this present day and age.
Even if the series goes 7 and Philly wins, Doc still will look bad for the fact that the series even got to 7, and they're gonna end up losing next round. So the series went 7. People might blame it on going 7, less rest, whatever. They're gonna lose to the Heat. So then you lost in the second round, and you went 7 in the first round. You weren't supposed to.
Yeah, it should have never went to 7 to begin with. This thing should have been over in 5. But
yeah,
I think we were all. I actually picked Philly to be on upset alert before the series had even started. For a lot of what I had said about Harden, I thought Toronto was just a bad matchup to begin with. It was crazy is the series really changed after Van Vliet got hurt, and it's not an indictment on Van Vliet. He's a great player. Nurse had to adapt. And I think he put a lineup out there where the shortest guy, I think, is 6'6", 6'7". See, and they're throwing multiple wings on Hart. Like they have no Doc Rivers has no answers for it. It's crazy.
Ex Meech, was he about to say something?
Yeah, Meech, we can't. Were you about to add something to that?
Yeah, yeah. That's the whole thing. I agree with Kay because, like I said earlier, if it goes to 7, he's still gonna look bad. Like it doesn't matter. It's a lose-lose. You go to 7. Even if you win this at 6, you see what Miami did, and they have more rest. Philly needs as much rest as they can. They had a handling business. So if you go to 7, you're gonna look bad. Even if you win this game 7, because you're gonna go to Miami and you're gonna get out of it. They're gonna smother you. They're just too deep. I think Miami is the best team in the league right now as far as roster wise goes. So I don't really see Philly getting out of there. It's gonna get ugly. And both, so we're gonna see Philly and the Nets both losers. So the trade, so we'll see who really won the trade next year, I guess.
Yeah, most def, man, most def. We got anything else before we get out of here?
Nah, that's it.
Hey, talking?
He was just saying nah.
Really quick, not to hold everybody up. I wanted to add this from last show. Boxing. Let's get into boxing really quick.
Oh yeah.
It's possibility we could see unification undisputed for all the belts, 4 belts. Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. I wanted to add what Rich was speaking on at the end, and I don't know if Hodge is here, but Hodge said that EJ gonna get knocked out. He not getting knocked out. It's a 50-50 fight. I'm going Spence. Just because his output is this is the best I've seen Spence look in a long time. Because he has a new nutritionist. He has the same strength and conditioning coaches, the team. This is the 3rd eye he broke. He broke Kell Brook's eye 5 years ago, 2017. Broke his orbital bone. When Kell Brook had the belt, he went to the UK, took the strap from Kell Brook, outworked him, broke his orbital bone. Now I remember when Rich was saying that Terrence Crawford looked better fighting Kell Brook.
It wasn't just Kell Brook. Kell Brook was one thing, but when seeing what he did to Sean Porter really swayed me. I've been an Errol Spence guy, biasly and objectively. I've been an Errol Spence guy this entire time this conversation's been going on.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I'm gonna say about the Sean Porter performance, he did his thing. Like I like Terrence Crawford too. I'm a fan of both. But EJ is just my favorite boxer, so I'm kind of biased. But the Terrence Crawford performance, he made adjustments. He had that check left hook because Sean Porter kept lunging. So Terrence Crawford used his boxing ability. The thing about that though, if you listen to the interview with Derrick James, that's Errol Spence's coach.
Right.
If you listen to Sean Porter, he has his own podcast, and his dad after that fight, his dad said verbatim, he said that the fight was over before it started. I knew Sean wasn't, he said something to the effect of like, I knew Sean wasn't in the right mode to fight him. So he stopped the fight and Sean Porter didn't want it. And him and Sean Porter and his pops hasn't spoken since that fight. That's how ugly it was. It was something going on between them two.
Well,
that I don't know.
No, well, we talked about that on this show, like after that fight.
Okay.
That was clear. It was clearly because of his Sean Porter Sr.'s comments after the fight. Like I thought, whether you're right or wrong, the fact that you're gonna say that in public about your son after a fight like that is uncalled for.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know, that work rate of Spence, the only way I see Bud winning is, counter punching and moving around the ring. But the thing about Spence, he's just so good at cutting off the ring. Now, it was a lot of openings that Ugas had with Spence where he was throwing that left hand. He left himself up wide open. And Ugas was hitting him with the body shots. The only thing is, Bud could definitely do that. He's a much better boxer than Ugas, in my opinion. It's just that his work rate is just crazy. Like, he's throwing so much punches per round. He's breaking people down. He's breaking your bones. He's breaking your ribs, your nose, your eyes. I don't know, man. This guy is different.
It's talking about Spence.
Yeah, Spence. Bud is nasty too, man. It's a 50-50 fight.
It's absolutely a 50-50 fight. My worry about Spence, like I said, I was swayed. I was really swayed after the Porter fight. Seeing the comparing the Porter Kell Brook fights between the two was a big thing for me. But also you gotta take this into account. Errol Spence, after he fights Terrence Crawford, will never fight at this weight class again. He's moving up. Even if they have a rematch, it's not going to be at 140. Was 145 pounds?
147.
147. Sorry. It's not happening there. He's moving up. So, I mean, like, he's very big for this weight class, and that's no secret. That's been a known thing for a while, almost 2-3 years now. That he's a big 147. Crawford is not. You gotta start thinking if this fight goes the distance and goes late, is he going to have enough in the tank to be able to not put it away? Because I don't think either of these guys are getting knocked out. It's possible. So you can never say never, but the consensus belief is there's not going to be a knockout here. But with all that being said, can he pull it out late with those factors in place?
You speaking about EJ or Terrence?
I'm speaking about Spence.
Okay, the thing, I feel like Spence gets stronger as the fight goes. That's the thing with Spence, because a lot of Bud's past 5 fights been stoppages. Spence has been 12 rounds with Danny, 12 rounds with Mikey, 12 rounds with Sean. His last 3 fights, then Ugas, where did we go? 9th, 10th round?
Yeah, I mean the Mikey fight. I felt like the Mikey fight. He was just he went into that fight like, I'm gonna just showcase my stuff, because a lot of people had criticism. Like, he could have ended that fight a lot sooner if he wanted to.
So that's the thing with Spence. His power carries like almost like Canelo in a sense. I feel like that's the big reason why Canelo hasn't lost in a long time against these opponents he fighting, is that his power carries throughout the rounds. And Spence's output, that's what separates Spence for everybody else to me, is just that his output and accuracy. So even though he, like, Sean Porter has great output, but his accuracy is not there. Spence is throwing 20, 30 punches a round and accurate, and his power continues to go through rounds 1 through 12. So that's the big difference to me with Spence and everybody else.
I hear it. Okay, you got anything to add to
that? Rich, I got one question for you. Meech just told us what he thinks Spence has to do to win. What do you think Crawford has to do to win?
Number one, I've never claimed to be the best boxing analyst out there. I enjoy watching boxing, but I'm definitely not a boxing analyst by any means. Crawford, I think, as like amateurish as this sound, he's got to do what he's been doing. I feel like Crawford's a super tactical fighter. Like that's how he's been like, especially because when you think of this, like, we all know he's not a big 147. He made his name at 142, not 147. He just got to come into that fight, and he's got to wear him down. He's got to wear him down. I feel like that's going to be his claim to fame, and I think it's very possible for him to do. This could be one of those It's already legendary on paper because of what the resumes have been, but the product itself could be one of the greatest things we've seen in a long time. And I feel like, we had Pacquiao, Mayweather, but like we got that a decade too late. We haven't had a big fight like this in a long time, where both guys are in their prime. This thing's gonna be huge. But to answer your question, I think it's got to be him wearing him down.
You don't think Wilder versus Fury?
Well, I feel like Bud is the more athletic fighter. As far as it's like speed wise, he's faster than Spence. I don't know. I don't think Bud is a better defender, we'll say. I don't feel like either of them are the best defender, because a lot of time we compare to Floyd. But Earl will take a shot to give a shot. So what Bud has to do is really just, he's got to capitalize on that. Athletic him, we got to capitalize on him, and he has to counter He got to counter him up. So I mean, that's gonna be a hard thing to do. That's the thing about. That's what I'm saying. Like he's a tank, but can't wait for that fight to happen. Also, it's another big fight Saturday, a unification on ESPN Plus. Is Shakur Stevenson from Jersey, Newark. He has a belt going against Oscar Valdez. So Shakur has the WBO and Valdez has the
Shakur
WBC.
staying undefeated. I love Oscar Valdez, but Shakur staying undefeated.
Yeah, I think Shakur and Jerron Ennis are like the best young boys coming up. So
You don't like Haney?
I don't see Shakur losing. Haney, yeah, I love Haney. He gonna handle Kambosos, but I think Shakur will beat anybody from 130 to 140 right now. I don't see Shakur Stevenson losing anybody.
Even against Gervonta.
Yeah, I think Shakur beats Gervonta. I think he will outpoint him. And he has a longer reach. I think Shakur is different than me. Tank has that power. Tank is right there. Tank is like 1A, and 1A and 1B. Tank would be right there. The only way Tank beats Shakur is with that power. And
So hold on, I didn't even forget Tank. You think Shakur would beat Teofimo and
Don't say him. Think about Loma.
You think Shakur would beat Teofimo and Loma?
Shakur getting everybody out of there. He's getting everybody out of there. Shakur Stevenson is like that. I
love Shakur Stevenson. Love him as a prospect. I felt bad for him when he didn't win the Olympic gold. He's the truth, and he's already a star, but he's going to be a superstar as his career continues to grow. Right? Like if they're fighting in within the next year or so, I don't know.
Hey man, I don't think Loma beats. I don't see Loma beating Haney either, because Loma has issues with that style of fighter.
You know what's crazy? You say that. Maybe it's because of where the promotion he's under. I feel like he doesn't get any of the respect he deserves as a fighter. But he also hasn't had the exposure that a lot of these other guys have had.
They've been ducking him, man. He's like the boogeyman. He was trying to fight Teofimo for about 3 years. Teofimo got him out there, said he needed a belt. What has he done? Then when Kambosos won, he picked Loma, but since Loma had to go in Ukraine, this is the reason why Haney had to fight. And Haney took the same deal Loma has. So he's getting underpaid, and he has to go to Australia for 2 fights. So Haney's really trying to fight everybody. Same with Shakur. Same with Boots. These young guys, they're really trying to fight, man. So boxing is on the up and up. It's just that these promotional companies got to get these fights going. They got to get them done.
Yeah, it's tough. And Kay, I didn't forget what you said earlier. The Tyson Fury bronze bomber thing. It was the thing with Spence and Crawford. It's like Meech was saying, it's a 50-50 fight. I feel like a lot of people that were rooting for Broner or picking Broner were doing it as fans and not people who really watch boxing. Broner always has that shot because he's got the power to knock you out. But he's never faced a boxer as good as Tyson Fury, and he just is not a better boxer. That's why you saw the second and third fights were like not even close at all.
I would say this though, the one I don't know if Kay's talking, my bad, Kay, if I'm cutting you off. Wilder did knock out Luis Ortiz, and I think a lot of people don't give Luis Ortiz the credit he deserves.
Why?
Much bigger.
I said Broner, by the way. My bad. I'm having brain farts. Wilder was losing the fight against Ortiz before he knocked him out.
He was. That's what made it so crazy, because Luis Ortiz was picking him apart, but Luis Ortiz is a boogeyman in heavyweight division too. So I mean, I give Wilder. I love Wilder. I was going from all 3 fights. I give him respect. He deserves, because he actually, he ain't back down, man. Because Tyson Fury, he's a great fighter, but nobody want to see like Ortiz or Wilder. Like Joshua wasn't asking for Fury. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Most def. Kay, you got anything else before we get out of here?
Nah, that's it for me. Meech, appreciate you.
All right. Well, Meech, we want to thank you for coming on again. It's been a pleasure. Always enjoy the talks. Always enjoy the talks. We'll definitely get into a boxing centered show. We could definitely even pair this thing up where we get a couple people on the call, not just a call in, and really dive into this. That'll be real fun.
There's a lot of big fights this year.
Most def. We'll probably get something big in December too. But yeah, man, it was a great show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a ton of playoff action. I believe there's a game on right now. Thank you guys for sticking in with us this long. But with that being said, it's Meech, it's Rich, and it's Kayson, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.